Well, everybody, this is Joseph Land, and welcome to the Ask Joseph Land show today on August the 15th. August is halfway through. It's amazing, isn't it?
Hmm.
I was, my wife and I had some folks in for the weekend, and we were talking about some of the school children here in our area have already started back to school. And, you look at that and you say, gosh, where did the summer go? And the older I get, it seems like to me, the faster time goes. Can anybody relate to that?
Yeah,
And
amen.
yeah, I know. And so, gosh, it seems like yesterday my girls were, going to grammar school or elementary school, and now they're all working careers and jobs. And thank goodness they got jobs. I'm teasing. But anyway, it's great to have everybody on the show today. I'm so excited to be here with you. What a great day to be here. And I'm going to pitch this over to my friend Tom Armour and have him say a few words to get us started. Tom, from Orlando, Florida, welcome to the show today.
Yeah, thanks, Joe, and I'm excited to be here and just talk for a few moments with your folks. And I just want to instill in everybody what a great opportunity this is, because I know that when I was starting business, I had read a lot of books and saw that you need to find a mentor in life, because mentors really cut time off of learning, because the most expensive way to learn something is trial and error. So it's great to be able to have a mentor or a mentorship program. I had met a gentleman down here in Florida. I told you, Joe, just the other day at a car wash, and he built a car wash, and he paid uh, a couple of $100,000 for a guy that's in the car wash business to help him design and train his people. And he said he saved the money he spent in the first year, because
Amazing.
he had laid it out all wrong, and it would have jammed. He wouldn't have flowed right. He would have had accidents. He would have had all sorts of challenges. So he said it was worth every penny. And I know from working from a lot of people and speakers and trainers, and that, when you got mentorship, that's everything. So you doing this tip of the day and doing these pieces every Monday starts the week off right, gets our heads framed right, and just really is an amazing thing that you do here. So I just want everybody to make sure that they take advantage of it. And I would also recommend, any partners or people you're hoping to do business with, encourage them to get on the phone. You get on this call, because this call is a great way for people to learn and grow, and it puts them on the same plane as you. So take advantage of it, because the tidbits that he gives you every week are really incredible. So with
Great.
that, please welcome Mr. Joseph Land.
Well, thank you, Tom. And, I'm going to talk today about the tiny habits at the tail end of this show. I'll talk about the tiny habits that I think make you more attractive in your business or in your life. And what you want to do is you want to attract what it is you're trying to accomplish, right? And so when I want to do something, then I figure out how I want to conduct myself in order to attract my reality. Pretty cool how it works. And when you have a personal discipline that you operate within, and you continue that, on a daily basis, being consistent and not getting bored and not getting off track with it, it's amazing what shows up in your life. It's amazing what your reality becomes. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. And you know, have you ever been around someone uh, or had someone in your life that when you saw them coming, you wanted to run the other way, or when you saw them, or when you saw their name come up on your phone, you didn't want to answer it? Now, come on, be real with me. Be real with me now. All right. And so uh, those are the kind of things that I'm going to teach you how to work through as we go on this. But you know what? Someone told me that that time was the currency of life, not money. And if that's the case, then love is also, loving people is also a very strong currency to employ in our lives and our businesses. So with that, I want to go over to my friend Tony Fightmaster. Tony is one of the VPs of development at a college in Illinois, and I've known Tony for a long time. Tony has a great story to tell y'all today about what happened to him recently and with his heart. And I want you to continue to pray for this man. This is one of my closest, dearest, most wonderful friends. And he has been a blessing to Jennifer and me. And Tony, I'm so excited to have you on the show today. And I want you to say a few words to everybody about what you went through to show God's power and goodness. And then two, I want you to talk about your metals business, your precious metals business, your silver business and gold and so forth, because I find it fascinating what you do. And maybe someone else might on the call might be looking to do something like that. And what I am is I'm a connector. And so if you're joining my show, it doesn't cost you anything to join my show. What I do is free. And maybe some of you guys are saying, well, I need to be paying you to join. So that's good too. But I like for you to share your information with one another. And who knows, somebody might want to jump in and do what you do. So that's why we do this. So Tony, welcome to the call today. And it's great to have you on board, buddy.
Hey, Joe, thank you. It's so good to be back with all of you. Actually, I've been on the road and gone quite a bit. And then I had this incident that Joe was talking about. By the way, a week or so ago, a little bit over a week ago, Janine and I had the opportunity to stop in Charleston, and Joe and Jennifer really spent almost the entire day with us. And we had a blast. Joe took us out in the harbor on a boat and got to look at the skyline. And we had two great meals that day. And I felt really guilty because Joe paid for everything. But we just had a great time being with you and Jennifer, Joe, and to see where you've landed there in Charleston for right now. And of course, I know that you split your time between Charleston and North Carolina. But it was so good to be there with you. Thank you for your gracious hospitality. About 2 months ago now, I guess. I was in a meeting here at the university, and I had this pressure and pain that began to build up in the center of my chest, a little bit different than what I had ever experienced. And boy, the meeting kept going on and on. Of course, at our university, we're a Christian university, and they called somebody up to pray at the end, and then they called somebody else up to pray. Then somebody else wanted to say something. I'm thinking, let's get this thing over. And I slipped out of the meeting and went home to take some aspirin because I thought, well, I'll just wait this thing out. And then I began to pray. And I said, Lord, what do I do about this? What should I do? And I've had this strong impression, this is not going away. You need to get to the hospital. And so I drove myself to the hospital. It was only 5 minutes away. And I thought that'd be the quickest way to get there. And long story short, it was a heart attack. And the artery they call the Widowmaker was 99% blocked, plus significant blockage in about 3 other arteries. And so I was very, very fortunate, blessed to be able to walk in and have the #1 heart specialist in our entire area be there. And he put a stent in right away. We had 10 to 15 people working on me. I had stent put in right away in the Widowmaker. And then I stayed overnight, and they put 3 more stents in the next day. And then everybody became aware that my 3rd son was getting married, and I was supposed to be hosting the rehearsal dinner. It's the heart attack happened on Wednesday. I stayed overnight Wednesday night, Thursday night, 4 stents. They let me go Friday at noon, and I got to host the rehearsal dinner on Friday night, be at the wedding on Saturday. And I just felt really blessed about that, Joe. It was so, just so thankful.
Hold on just a minute. I want to make sure everybody heard this. So see, there are no coincidences with God. I mean, watch this. So here, this man has served God all his life. He has a heart problem. And just by happenstance, the #1 heart guy in the whole state of Illinois was on duty when he walked in the hospital. That's not happenstance, right? And then when this guy found out that his son was getting married, he said, "I will have you out of this hospital so you could host that event."
That's right.
Isn't that amazing? It's amazing what they can do with medicine today, isn't it? With the heart and the stents and stuff. So Tony, what a great story.
Yeah, if anybody's ever, I mean, those of us who have been in the hospital in the past, and I've gone through a couple hip replacements like Joe has, et cetera, it takes forever to be released from the hospital. Everybody and their brother's got to sign off on it, you know. And wow, when you have a few of the key doctors involved and they say, hey, this guy needs to go home. Well, they got it done like that. It was the fastest I ever got released from the hospital in my life. It was great.
That's great. Well, tell us a little bit about your precious metals business.
Well, you know, when I learned about this last year, I just realized that I needed to learn more. And so I began to listen and realize that fiat currency, you know, the inflation is going through the roof. Obviously, that's not news to you. All of us are experiencing the hit of that. And last year, the timing was perfect. I began to just put some of my fiat currency into silver and gold collectibles. And then I began to also shift some over into fractional gold, fractional currency. And we do that through a business called 7K. It's really a kind of like a Costco of gold and silver. And so it's a membership club deal. And so I began doing that. Well, there's way more pieces to it than just silver and gold. The biggest highlight I'd love to hit on right now is what we call the Sound Money Wallet, Joe. And it's like a bank. It's like our own bank. And of course, I have money that goes in there. And you know, this fall they're going to be issuing, as far as I know, the first debit card ever tied strictly to gold and silver. So we're talking about currency. We're not talking about just another investment. We're talking about a way to do business and a way to make sure that what you have is solid, and it's not going to go away tomorrow if our currency here in the U.S. Goes upside down here in the next year or so. So it's a way to diversify in terms of currency. I had a friend that's pretty successful business guy. He got real confused with me. He said, Tony, you could put money in the stock market and you know, over a period of time, well, he got it confused with investments versus currency. And so what we're talking about here is diversification and solidifying so that you're not all wrapped up in the fiat currency. And I know that there's several on here, Tom and others, that have diversified and have there's so many different things we can do. And I'm just learning, Joe, quite honestly. I'm a student, and while I'm a student, I have value going up.
Yeah.
While I'm learning.
Well, Tony, that's I think that's very impressive and a very sound thing, and I thank you for talking about that here on the show today. And Jennifer is gonna do this with you. We're gonna buy some of the silver and gold and precious metal that you offer, because I think it's good to have silver on hand. And I think I'm going to make a prediction right here on the show. I think silver will go off the charts in value by the end of the year. I want to make sure y'all understand it. I think silver will be one of the most valuable commodities. Silver's trading around what, 29? Bobby, are you on? Bobby Bentz? Silver's trading probably around 20, 29, 30, something like that. Bobby, is that right? You're muted. Are you muted? So Bobby might be muted, but I think, I think silver could go to 100 fairly quickly when some of the things Tony was talking about, the majority of the population realize. So I was looking at something today, and it said if you made $1 a second, if you made now I want to explain to you. If you made $1 a second, it would take you like a year to become a millionaire. If you made $1 a second, it would take you 10 years to become a billionaire, or 5 years to become a billionaire. If you made $1 a second, in order to amass $1 trillion, it'd take 31,000 years. 31,000, isn't that incredible? And our government spends like $1 trillion like it's nothing, and we're $31 trillion in debt. And so, Tony, some of the things that you and Bobby Bentz and people like you guys, Ryan, Batista, Rachel, who are a lot smarter than me, some of the things you guys are doing, is the right thing to be doing, because you're diversifying, and you're protecting yourself. What if one day we woke up and our currency was worth nothing? What would we do? And those are good thoughts. And my thing is to be diversified, have some property, have some extra food on hand, have some currency, have some good investments, with people like Bobby who know how to make the right investments, and just start forward thinking is what I call it. So that's kind of my story. But thank you, Tony, for telling us about what you're doing. I want to introduce y'all to someone named Doris Chua. Doris is in the Philippines. You heard Mark last week, and Doris is my operations manager. She runs Joseph Land brand operation all over in all my businesses and websites and everything. And this is one sharp cookie. She and Mark have a couple of kids, a couple of small children, and they are just doing so well. And she's taught me so much. But today we live in a global society, and you do business globally. And so I meet with Doris and Mark, on a weekly basis, and we're constantly corresponding. But she has developed all of my brand that you see, all the logos, all the color schemes, all the business, everything you see that I do. She and her husband are doing, along with Jennifer, my wife. So, Doris, welcome to the show today. I wanted to give people a glimpse of who you are, because I don't want to take credit for all the stuff you do. I want them to know you're behind me. You're muted.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to be featured here on the show. We are really blessed to know Joseph. We've been freelancers for 5 years now, and that's the time that we decided to leave the corporate world. So we are working in the BPO industry before, and then when we had kids, we already have our firstborn. That's the time that we decided to really stay at home, and we can work online. So we are very blessed to know Joseph as our one of the initial clients that we have, and he's really a prayer answered prayer for us. So we've been handling his brand, his branding. We do his websites, his social media, and we build sales funnels for him. And we do that as well for our other clients. And we are really blessed to know Joseph, and he is very, very kind. And we really wanted to reciprocate that by helping him as well with his heart that he wants to help many other entrepreneurs out there to be to inspire other people as well. Thank you for having me, Joseph, and also my husband.
Thank you, Doris. I just want to give a sneak peek of who you are. So thank you so much, and God bless you. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Jerry, how are you doing today? Jerry Llewellyn?
Yes, sir. I'm great today, Joseph. Thanks so much.
Good. How's everything going with Jerry?
Jerry's great. I had this wonderful conversation with a client that he's got a, $30 million underground utility business moving into roads. I'm working with him on a couple of projects for recruiting some high-level manpower that he needs. And he's been a client of mine since 2013. And just as you had mentioned, Joseph, people that are CEOs and owners of businesses, they're sort of all alone. They don't really have anybody to talk to. Now, fortunately, you're in partnership with Jennifer. In his case, his wife is not really in the business or associated with the business. But nonetheless, it becomes just this incredible journey of being together with another human being and just finding out, what they're about, what their values are, what their strengths are. And he's a fine person. He's a fine Christian. And it's just lovely to have business contacts that can be meaningful from a human standpoint as well. It's nice to get paid, of course, but it's also very nice to have a heart-to-heart connection and try to be of service to someone. So I'm
That's great.
fresh off that.
Jerry Llewellyn is a great mentor and someone I learn a lot from, and he is mentoring and helping a lot of law firms and a lot of professional people, real estate people. So proud of what you're doing, Jerry. You're such a good man, and thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you so much. An honor to be here, Joseph.
Great. Rachel, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm looking forward to having our meeting and looking at your business plan.
I know. We're pretty excited about this.
Good. It was great to have you and Ryan on the show today. Ryan, how are you doing out west?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm working on my iPad, I'm working on my phone, and then also my Mac. So it's a busy morning this morning for me.
Yeah, Monday.
Yes, sir.
Great. Well,
Sure,
great.
but
I
thank
hope you guys have a great week, and I'm looking forward to meeting with you.
Yes, sir.
Bobby, I want you to unmute if you can find how to unmute, and just kind of, Bobby is an investment guy, and he does investments and has a fund. And I would love for you to just kind of tell people, Bobby, what you see and how we could, learn from you here today. Can you talk, Bobby, or are you busy? I think you're muted. We can't hear you. That's okay. That's all right. Let's see. Yeah, you're not muted. I don't know. But anyway, I'll come back to you. Dawn, how are you doing today up in Long Island, New York?
I'm doing great.
That's good. How's everything going?
Everything's going well. I'm delving into hiring my financial intelligence. So I just that's my next area that I'm working on in my life. So I'm at the beginning, and every day I don't let the big words of the books that you've suggested, I don't let them scare me. I just keep reading it, and I know that God is going to little by little hire my intelligence on it, and I just keep absorbing it, and I don't put any pressure on myself.
Yes.
It's very important because it can get discouraging if you start having all these expectations that you should know all this stuff. But just like anything, it's like riding a bike. You just got to do it over and over, read it over and over. And I'm excited to go forward with my financial.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited when women have success in business. I really am. I have 3 daughters. Actually, with Jennifer, we have 5 daughters combined. But when my girls were little, I taught them that there was no glass ceiling and that they breathe fire, and I told them that they could do anything they wanted to do. And I constantly told them that you can be anything you want to be. And buddy, they are all crushing it in business. And I told them, I don't want you to ever be dependent on anybody else. You make your own way. And one day, if you have a husband that is successful, then so be it. But if not, you be successful anyway, right? And is that good counsel, ladies?
Wonderful advice.
And I have a daughter that was in charge of a division of a healthcare company and retired at 42 years old, saved all her money. Listen to this. She has 3 little granddaughters. And so her husband's very successful, and she decided she'd worked long enough. She's done. My middle daughter is the NBC News anchor at a major market, and she does very well and has 2 children. And then my other daughter is the vice president of a restaurant chain that's very successful. And I look back on how they were raised without having to be fearful and without really caring about what anybody thought. When my girls would come home and say something, well, so-and-so, and I said, well, what does it matter? Doesn't matter what they think, right? The only thing that matters is what you think. And if you think you're going to be successful, then you go for it, right? And I got your back kind of thing. Just like I'm talking to you guys on this thing. And it's so important to instill that into people that we meet, that anything's possible. We serve a God that's anything's possible. One of my favorite verses I'm going to share with y'all today is, write this down, Jeremiah 32:27. I gave that to Rachel the other day. And it says, I got it printed out on a 5x7 card right on my desk. And it says that I am the Lord, the God of all mankind. Is anything too hard for me? No, it's not. Nothing's too hard for the God who created the heavens and the earth. And that's the way we should think. And has anybody ever had something happen, you weren't expecting it, and it kind of threw you for a loop? Anybody want to talk about that for a moment? Anybody want to ask me any questions today? Okay, go ahead, Don.
I have a question about the silver. Owning physical silver, as opposed to what Tony just said, and owning it in another way where you can use it. Is it good to have both? I'm thinking yes. And why is it important?
Well, in Tony's business, you own the silver that he has too. It's actually delivered to your door.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how do you spend physical silver with a card?
I don't know that answer. Tony?
Yeah, I'm just learning about this through what's called a Sound Money wallet, which is another benefit from our membership. They have created relationships all around the world. And again, I'm just learning about this, Dawn. So I'll know more probably within the next several weeks or month. But this will be tied directly to gold and silver, so the value is there. Now, I've been diversifying into fractional gold and silver as well as, and that's kept in a vault out west where the company is. It's backed by gold and silver. But what I have sent to me at this point in time are collectible coins and gold notes, and collectibles. Obviously, it's a different concept. It's minted, and so they go up in value. definitely faster than, physical gold bullion or silver bullion. It's a different ball game. It could go down too, which I have some that have gone down, and I have more that have gone up. So it's a diversification there. But I'm learning more about this. I'll have more information in the future. But my understanding is this fall we're going to have a debit card that we can actually use around the world,
Why
not
don't,
just here in the U.S.
why don't you put your information down in the chat and you guys share information and chat about it offline?
Yeah, I'll put my my cell phone and email in there, Dawn. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, I can also connect you with people that know more than I do. I've introduced Joe to a gentleman by the name of Jim McCullen from Hawaii. I've known Jim for over 30 years, and Jim has kind of been my mentor in this. But I'll put my info in there.
Great,
Thank you.
great, great. Anybody else have any questions? Miles, how are you doing today in Hawaii?
Doing real well. I'm really enthused about your meeting you, Joe, and meeting everyone here, and enthused in the way of getting more fired up to do more, to be of greater service.
Yeah, good. Well, good. Well, I'm excited about you too, and I'm excited about some of the things you're doing. I want you to kind of be prepared next week to talk a little bit about your business.
Okay.
Shane, how are you doing today?
I'm doing terrific. Thank you for asking, Joseph.
Good.
Would you like me to talk a little bit, just a little bit?
Yeah, say a few words.
I just wanted to say, there's so many ways that not only being on this show with you, Joseph, but working with you individually, that are these unanticipated benefits of just knowing that, I can rely on you and your advice and your support. It translates into every aspect of what I'm trying to do with my life and my business, far beyond what we even talk about. For example, this weekend, one of the things that I just never want to do is file papers. And so I'm used to doing everything myself. So I have piles and piles of paper. And this weekend, I just felt so kind of clear and calm and about my business unfolding and my Tri Wellness business and the various other things I'm involved in, that I was just able to focus on it, to organize all this paper. And because of that, and this was just like 2 days, this paper's been gathering for, a long, long time. My workspace is calling to me. My biofeedback practice is calling to me. I feel re-energized around it, and not just the biofeedback, but the other energy devices that I use. And so I too am really, really excited about moving forward in my business and being able to help people where they most need help. So thank you so much for that, Joseph, and for all of you.
I'm very proud of you. I want to point out Jerry and Shane are two of my 8 clients that I work with. And I'm going to bring on Tom Armour. I see David Bass on here too. They're doing an NFT business, non-fungible token business. It's going to be very successful. Tom Armour, I want you to talk about it a little bit. But Shane, not to divulge too much information, but Shane has a song that I think is the #1 bestseller. And we were having a conversation last week. See, this is how big this is. Networking with different people. I said, Shane, you're going to be able to sell that song as an NFT. And there'll be thousands of people buy it all over the world. Millions of people buy it. And you'll, like Tom Armour says, you'll make most of the profit as opposed to giving away the profit to a publisher. And so I'm very proud of you and what you're doing there. Tom, you want to talk about NFTs a moment and how that works?
Sure. Non-fungible tokens is just a fancy way of saying something that can't be copied. It started out with digital currencies so we could transact business over the internet without having to use credit cards. You can do it through digital currency, and then it evolved to, well, why can't they use the way we secure digital currency for securing other things? And it came up with non-fungible tokens, which can be pictures, can be music, can be documents, can be anything. But what makes that interesting is also the non-fungible token can be set up that it pays people when it transacts. So when it changes hands again, you can make money again. So someone that publishes a song, they can put in there that 15% every time a sale's made will come back to them into their wallet. So if somebody they buys their song and then sells it to somebody else, they'll get paid for that transaction as well. So it's a great way if you're in the music business to do that. And most people that are in the music or in the book writing business, Joe, like you are, know that what you get from the sale of a book is very, very small compared to what the publisher gets.
Yes.
And in this way, you're the one that's making the lion's share of the money, and you make money if somebody you sell the book to sells it to somebody else,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
which is it's your content, it's your information that you put in there, so you should get paid for it. And I just tell people that non-fungible tokens is the currency of the Web 3.0, which is where we're going to be transacting business on the internet without having to do it one-on-one. You're going to be able to just use your phone and be able to transact business or share documents or share things that are certified or pictures or things that are one of a kind. And and music and all those things, it's going to change the way it is, because right now if we put a song up on the Apple store, you make very little compared to what you're going to make here, because you're able to control where it goes and what happens with it after it's been done. So it's a great way to interact. And the whole thing that you hear about the metaverse that all the billionaires are talking about, which is just a fancy way of communicating on the internet. To demystify it, people say, well, what does this metaverse means? Well, it's just another way of interacting with your computer, because you'll be able to walk around like you're in the computer. You can put goggles on if you want to, or you can use a mouse if you want to. But when I bought my first XT computer, it didn't have a mouse. They came out with this thing called a mouse and a trackball later, and I bought one of those, and it made it easier to use a computer. And now the metaverse is going to be the same way. You're going to be able to walk around the little downtown street and walk in the shoe store and order some shoes and come out of there and go into another store and buy some music, and or go in here and go play some video games, or whatever you want to do. And it's just a way of you to interact or interface with the computer. So the metaverse is what's making the NFTs exciting. Is it's if you buy a game piece or you buy something that you're using in the metaverse, you can bring it from one game to another. When I won coins on Donkey Kong, it didn't mean anything when you went into Pac-Man, but here it would. You'd be able to transfer what you've won in one game to another game, or from one game to another. It's going to make it really interesting what's going to go on in the future. And if people are like listening to stuff, watch the movie Ready Player One. It'll kind of give you a little bit of a taste of what the metaverse may be like, but it give you the concept of being able to live out life through the internet. So it's just kind of exciting where it's going. And I don't know what you guys are talking about this silver stuff, but I've never never done anything in silver. But yeah, what Tony said there about currencies is so true. You need to be involved in what's going on in the marketplace, and be able to do currencies other than just one, so you're diversified.
Tom, I want you to put your information down in the chat. David Bass is, and a few people are founding a company called Champion Ventures, and I was so impressed with it, and I have no ownership in it. If I did, I would tell you. but I have been so impressed with it, I decided to be the spokesperson for it because I think Web 3.0 is where we are and where we're going to operate. And I wanted to learn more about it, and I wanted to put a professional touch on their business to help them get it off the ground so that they could be very successful. That's who I am. I want to help people. And so I'm very impressed with what these guys are doing. And Tom, put your information down in the chat so they can contact you or David for your next presentation, so that people can learn. This show is about everybody learning from each other. I will never tell you what to do unless you ask me and ask me my opinion. And then I'll tell you what my opinion is. So Estee, how you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing pretty good. I'm
Good.
just kind of, my fiance has COVID, so I'm just waiting for my test to come in. So I'm hoping, but all in all, I'm doing really good. And I just want to let you know how your show is so inspiring. And I have some opportunities that are coming up that I'm real excited about. I'm waiting till I make my move to Vero because I feel like I need to get that, taken care of, get my house on the market, but just some good opportunities, and I'm meeting some amazing people, which
Yeah.
I'm excited about. So I'm excited for my future and a new beginning and being with my daughter and grandson too.
Well, that's great. That's great. I'm very proud of you. I saw that you really appreciated what we put up on social media on my story.
Yeah,
What
it is so inspiring. It always makes my day having those inspirational posts, always.
Coach Lou Holt says, don't tell people your problems. 80% don't care. And the
Right,
other 20% are glad you got them.
right. So true, so true.
Coach Holtz was a former great coach at Notre Dame. He's also the coach at South Carolina for a while. And so we love Coach Holtz, but he said, don't tell people about your problems. 80% don't care. And the other 20% are glad you got them.
Right.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, it was.
Anyway, that's he's a great man. Well, thank you for joining me today, Estee.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Jennifer, it's great to have you on today.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, and nice meeting you again here. I'm so happy and excited because how I know this, it's because I met with Joseph way back 2012, Sir Joe, in other company, and all your share and your story, it come back in my Facebook. So you have a lot of followers from my Facebook, and because you're so positive, it ignites them as well as in my team. So I'm in financial industry as well as a financial advisor, and your energy and your blessings as you deliver every day. Since I meet you, I meet you personally twice. So
Thank you.
I always tell them he is my distance coach. I didn't meet him like every time, but I met him with that company, and it's give me a blessing. So guys, let's just continue sharing what we do in our heart, and let's move forward for the better future of our family and to the world. God bless you, everyone.
Thank you. And Jennifer, you're in Toronto, Canada. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Good. Thanks for joining us today. People from all over join this, and you would be surprised at people who listen to this recording and what all of you guys have to say. I mean, we have people in Pakistan and all over the world. It's just amazing how God is using this, and I'm so humbled by it. Anybody have any questions for me before I talk to you about how to be more attractive? Any questions? Let me tell you what happened to me today. See, life is not a bowl of cherries for me every day either. It's like, sometimes you can get smacked in the face when you're doing business, and it's not what happens to you that matters. It's your reaction that happens that matters. All right. So I'm going to share a personal thing with you today, and I probably shouldn't do this. Jennifer's going to probably tell me I shouldn't have done this. But I had a business, a company I do business with, a lot of business with, call me this morning at 9 o'clock. This is the kind of call you're looking for on Monday. Call me at 9 o'clock this morning and tell me that they made a mistake in the invoice and we owed them $89,000 more. That's a Monday morning wake up call. I didn't even need a cup of coffee this morning. But thank the Lord that we are able to take care of that and pass that on. And so, 100 years from now, I probably won't even think about it. But today it was really important. How's that sound? But it's the truth. It's the truth. Life happens. Life will happen to you. It doesn't matter where you are, what position you in. Doesn't matter if you're a billionaire or a pauper. Doesn't matter. Life happens. And it doesn't matter what happens. What matters is your reaction to what happens. Right? And so what I did was I got up from my desk and I took a deep breath and I walked around and I said, okay, Lord, this is really interesting. It's going to be fun to see how you help me solve this today. And hour and 20 minutes later, we had it solved. Isn't that cool? But that's how things work. And that's how things work in a business. And you know what? I've seen Mark Twain said, I've experienced a lot of terrible things in my life and some actually happened. So we're experiencing all these things that might happen in our head. And some of them actually do happen, but most of them don't. And so don't think about something that might happen. Just think about the good, right? And so when I had this presented to me today, I just started thanking the Lord for the solution. And so everything works out for good, right? Anybody have any questions before I get into how to be more attractive? All right, let's go. Get your pens and papers out. I think one way that you become more attractive is when you're able to say thank you when someone helps you. Thank you is a very powerful word. I had some people working on our kitchen. Jennifer and I are redoing our kitchen. And I was constantly thanking them. It was hot. I was giving them bottles of water and thanking them for working so hard. And one of the workers said, we've never worked for anybody so nice. We've never had anybody stop and give us water. And we never had anybody thank us so much. We're just honored to do this work for this man. That's what they told my contractor. Isn't that cool? So I think one of the powerful things that makes you attractive is being humble and saying thank you when somebody lends you a helping hand or when somebody's doing something for you. Number two is just, taking pleasure in the simple things of life. I've been doing this for the last 3 weeks. I've been waking up early in the morning and taking a walk and praying. I take a 35-minute walk and pray. And this morning I started looking at the trees and the birds and the squirrels and all the simple pleasures of life. It had just kept me grounded. I said, oh my gosh, this is so nice. But, nobody in my house is up. And I just decided to go take a walk this morning, right? And it was so refreshing. I walked for about 35 minutes and I was just praying and thanking. And it put me in a mindset where when something happened in my business this morning, I was able to handle it, right? Isn't that cool? So number two, take pleasure in simple things. This third one is so important to me, and you're going to realize how every one of you who are on this show, or every one of you who listen to this show on the recording, are important to me because I treat friendships and relationships as priorities. That makes you attractive. When someone gets on my show and they become a part of our lives, I make them a priority in my life. When they send me an email, I try to respond in the same day. If I miss it, I'm going to respond eventually, but I try to respond in the same day. And so if you want to be attractive, treat your friendships and your relationships that God brings into your life as priorities. You know, when someone's talking to me, I'm with them. I'm in the moment with them. I'm not thinking about something else I got to do. I'm not writing about figuring out something I'm going to do on email. When I'm talking to someone, I'm trying to give them all of myself because I want to understand what it is they're talking about and where they're coming from and what their needs are and how I may be to be able to encourage them in what they're doing. So treat friendships and relationships as priorities. That'll make you more attractive. 4, connect with people deeply and keep your promises. You know, if you say you're going to call them at 3:30, call them at 3:30. If you're not, tell them you're 5 minutes late or whatever. Connecting with people deeply and really caring about what's going on in their life is attractive. It really is. And, you know, I had one of my financial friends tell me, he said, why in the world you do a show like that? I mean, you know, why, you know, you don't have time for that. And I said, yeah, it's the most important thing I do. It energizes me, my week, because I see people who have dreams, who are going to be very successful. And God has already planted the seed and I'm going to water it. And he had no response to that. What can you say to that? And so, you know what? I'm going to connect with the people who want to connect with me, and I'm going to do it on the deep level. I'm going to give you all I got. And sometimes you might not like it, or sometimes you might think maybe my counsel might not be what you're looking for, but I'm going to give you all I got, right? And I want you to be all that God created you to be. Tim Tebow spoke at a thing on Thursday night. And he just said, you know, we don't need to act like somebody else. We don't need to try to be like somebody else. We just need to be the best version of ourselves. You know, you don't need to act like me, and I don't need to act like Tony Fight Master, and Tony doesn't need to act like Tom. We just need to be the best version of ourselves. And so connect with people deeply, and keeping your promises will make you attractive. I'll tell you something else that'll make you attractive too. When you nourish yourself with the right food, and you are committed to a personal discipline. Here's what happened to me. I met with 4 guys at lunch. And even before I ordered, one of the guys said, well, I bet you Joseph is going to order a salad. Isn't that funny? And I said, why would you say that? I mean, why wouldn't I get fried chicken and mashed potatoes and cornbread? He said, because you're conscious about your fitness and the way you look. And he says, I've watched you eat when we're together, and you're always trying to eat what's good for you. Isn't that powerful? And I said, thank you for that compliment. That's a nice compliment. You just encouraged me to be better at doing that, right? And so when you nourish your body and eat right, people watch. People are paying attention. As a matter of fact, people are paying attention to everything you do. If you're trying to engage someone in a business that you have, and they're not ready to engage, trust me, they're watching what you're doing anyway. All right. So do your best. The number 6 thing I think that'll make you more attractive is know your worth. Know what just like I was telling my daughters, hey man, there's no glass ceiling. You know, you breathe fire. You can do anything you want to do. Know your worth. And know what you're willing to accept for who you are and what you're worth, you know, and in a job or whatever somebody's willing. In business, in corporate America, people pay you what they think you're worth. Did you hear that? In corporate America, people decide what you're worth to the company by what they're willing to pay you. Are you getting, not in a vindictive way, but that's just how they decide it. I mean, I ran a company with 2,000 employees. And so that's how it works. And so know your worth. Be the most valuable person at your employment. Be the most valuable person in your own business. You know, when I was building my first big company, I was the first one in and the last one out because I was on a mission. But today you can do things differently than that. But know your worth and fight for what it is you believe in. And then the seventh thing is forgiving people for mistakes they make. That'll make you very attractive. When somebody does something wrong and affects you, just say, man, it's okay. I forgive you. You know, it's okay. I forgive you. And it doesn't mean that you become their best friend. It might mean you limit their access to you, but forgive them, let it go, right? Unforgiveness does more harm to the vessel in which it's stored than the object on which it's poured. If you harbor unforgiveness in your heart, the person that you feel that way toward 9 times out of 10 doesn't even know it. So it just eats you up instead of them. And so let it go. Have you ever seen those carrier pigeons when they store them in a crate and all of a sudden they let them go and they take off to take a message somewhere, right? And there's this it's fluttering and it's just beautiful to watch. That's what I mean by just letting it go. If someone does something to you that hurts you in some way and you harbor unforgiveness in your heart, just let it go. Just let it go and just tell them, hey man, I forgive you. That makes you attractive. It makes you attractive in your business, makes you attractive in your personal life. I went through and you know, I think it's good to talk about our personal lives, and I want to be humble and vulnerable to you, but I went through a very terrible divorce at one time. And I had one of my friends come to my office and judge me. And man, it was hard to listen to. And when it was over, you know what I did? I said, look, I appreciate your opinion. I love you. You know, I appreciate that you were bold enough to come here, and I harbor no ill feelings toward you. And I appreciate you coming and telling me what you thought, taking up my time. And when it was over, I just got on my knees and I said, Lord, help me not to have unforgiveness in my heart toward this man, because he was totally out of line. He has no idea what the whole story is. And he was totally out of line. And you know what? I forgave him, but I limited his access to me from that point forward. And so I'm teaching you today. We're all going to go through things in our life that some are not pleasant. And you just have to learn to forgive people and move on. Is that helpful? Are these points helpful to you guys today? You guys unmute yourself and somebody tell me.
It's so neat to be able to hear.
Absolutely.
Very.
What do you think, Rachel? Yeah. Let's talk one at a time.
I just, to be able to hear you share your thoughts and your heart like you are is just amazing. So I appreciate it. And I wrote down every word you said, kind of.
Hey.
Yes.
Well, what you're going to get on the Ask Joseph Land show is you're going to get real. And I'm not perfect, and I don't intend to be. There was only one perfect person, and it wasn't me. And so, I have my faults, but what I've learned is that's how I become a better person. I learned by my mistakes. And one of the hardest things I had to learn was to be able to forgive myself. I want y'all to hear that. One of the hardest things you're going to learn to deal with in life is forgiving yourself.
I mean,
right?
we're our own worst critic.
Yes.
So
Yes. And I want y'all to, when you get off this phone, go find a mirror and look in the mirror and say, you know what? I'm a winner. God created me special. I'm a one of a kind. I'm a genuine one of a kind person. I mean, look at all of us on this. Look at the screen, everybody, right now. Look at the screen. Look at everyone. Every one of us are totally different. God made every one of us different and every one of us unique. And we're all special. Isn't that cool? And so I just get a kick out of talking to you guys, and I'm going to tell you just like it is. And I'm going to leave no holes barred. I'm going to tell you the truth, because all these people that you think are very successful and have it made, they don't have it made. They have issues too. You know why? Because I talk to them. And so just be the best version of you and watch God bless what you do. And I'm gonna give you my final tip. Dave, how you doing today? Dave, you unmuted? Yeah, how you doing today, Dave? Is this helpful? I think you froze up.
Did I?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, well,
Is this helpful for you today?
I missed what you,
Okay, good.
I'm sorry.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Very, very helpful.
Oh, good, good. I'm glad. I know you run a big company.
Very helpful.
Well, that's good. Well, I want you guys to know I love you today and I appreciate you. And you make my week. What a great way to start out a week, isn't it? And when adversity comes, like today, adversity came at me, right? And I had to solve this, and I'm still working on solving it, but I know how. And so when adversity comes today, what is your attitude going to be? My attitude was, oh my. And then I started thinking, okay, Lord, thank you for what you're teaching me in this. What did we miss here? What did we miss? Show me how to not miss it again. Show me how to solve the situation. And then all of a sudden, everything changed, right? And so I'm excited for all of you. I'm excited for what God's doing in your life. I'm excited to be a part of your lives. And I want to go back to item number 3, relationships. My relationship with all of you guys is a priority for me. I want you to know that. And I love you. And I thank you for all your participation today. And I want you to hang on just a minute. And for those of you who are listening on to the recording, thank you for joining us today. We're going to end the call right now.